All right, I'm going to be going over your Chapter 2 quiz, which was assigned for Wednesday/Thursday block day. So you had an 80-minute class period to get this done. So took students an average of 21 minutes. So there was plenty of time to get this done. So I am going to go over it now. Question 1. So we're just identifying angle types in this case. So angle 1 and angle 3 are what types of angles? They are vertical angles. So 1 and 3, they're vertical angles. Question 2, angle 2 and 4 are what type of angles? They are also vertical angles. Question 3, angle 8 and angle 2 are what type of angle? So these guys are very far apart from each other. You can tell they kind of look like they're the same. So they are on opposite sides of the transversal, and they're exterior, they're on the outside of the parallel lines. So these are alternate exterior angles. Angle 6 and angle 4 are what type of angles? So they're on opposite sides of the transversal, so they're alternate, but they're interior. They're inside of the parallel lines. So they would be alternate interior angles. Question 5. Angle 5 and angle 3 are what type of angle? So angle 5 and angle 3. These are also, just like 4 and 6 up here, these are also alternate interior angles. Angle 1 and angle 5. Angle 1 and angle 5. These are corresponding angles. So they're in the same spot, both in that like top left part. So these are corresponding angles. Question 7, angle 5 and angle 4 are what type of angles? These are on the same side of the transversal and they are interior. So these are same side interior angles. All right, now we're going to find some missing angle measures. So angle 8 down here is 23 degrees. What are the missing angle measures? So what's angle 2? And what's angle 1? So we have to know our angle relationship. So the way I know that angle 2 is also 23 degrees is because these are alternate exterior angles, meaning they're congruent. So these would also be 23. Remember I told you your options when you have angles, they're either going to be congruent, so the exact same angle measure, or they're going to be subtracted from 180. So since I know that angle 2 is 23 degrees, then I can figure out, so this is 23, did I say 22? These are 23 degrees. So I'm going to do 180 minus 23, and then that's going to give me, excuse my handwriting with this, but that's going to give me what angle 1 is. So 180 minus 23 is 57 degrees. So I'm going to put in 57. So 57 are, let me check that. That actually is incorrect. I meant 157, obviously. 157, not 57. Left off the 1. So 157 and 23. So these form a line. That's how I knew to subtract from 180. You see how they create that line together? And those would be my two angle measures. And technically, knowing those two, you could also figure out all of these other ones. They're either going to be 157 or 23 degrees, but we just had the two to figure out. So let's go to the next one. This one says solve for x. So you have to know that 15x plus 3 and 108 are equal to each other because these are alternate interior angles. So this is just a simple equation to solve. So even though my handwriting's terrible with this mouse, I am going to do this here. So this is just a simple equation to solve. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. 15x equals 105, and then I'm going to divide by 15. And I get x equals 7. So to solve for x, enter in the numerical value only, so only put in 7. Don't type in, see, if you try to type in anything else, it tells you only put in the number. So 7 is my answer. Let's go to the next one. All right, so a little proof here. This actually came from an assignment that you already did. So P is parallel to Q. That's given to us. Angle 1 is equal to angle 3. How do we know that? Because they are corresponding angles, both in the bottom left. Angle 3 is equal to angle 2. How do I know that? Well, they are vertical angles. And then angle 1 is equal to angle 2 then. How do I know that? From the transitive property, that they are the same. So if angle 1 is equal to angle 3 and angle 3 is equal to angle 2, then that means angle 1 must also be equal to angle 2 logically. Question 11 is our triangle question. So I am given a couple angle measures and I need to find the missing angles. So first of all, I have this first triangle right here. I know that every triangle adds up to 180 degrees. So how can I figure out what angle 1 is? I can simply subtract 180 minus 72 minus 57. So that's what I'm going to do on a calculator. And I'm going to see what that gives me. 180 minus 72 minus 57 gives me 51. So angle 1 is 51. So I've got 51 here. So now remember, there's always a couple ways you can try out these problems. So if I go to angle 2 here, let's see if I can figure out what angle 2 is. So this angle is 90 degrees. So I know then that this angle plus this angle equals 90. So to figure this one out, I can just do 90 minus, oh my goodness, 90 minus 72. 90 minus 72, not working out super well, and that'll give me 18 degrees. So angle 2 would be 18 degrees, which makes sense. It looks really tiny. So that's 18 degrees. So now I can figure out these other two in a couple different ways. So I could think about like this big triangle here, knowing that, you know, this whole triangle would add up to 180. So I could do 180 minus 90 minus 51 to figure out angle 4. I could use the fact that these two are aligned and then subtract. So you do have a couple options, which I know can be kind of scary when you have options and you have to actually think about how you want to solve it. But it's the same way when you solve a puzzle. You know, there's a million different ways to solve a puzzle. You start with the edge pieces, the middle pieces. What do you do? So I'm going to choose, just because I think it's simpler, I'm going to say, okay, I know that these two form a line, so I'm going to do 180 minus 57, and that's going to tell me what angle 3 is. So 180 minus 57, right, gives me 123. So this angle right here is 123. So angle 3 is 1, 2, 3. So now, knowing all of that, I can figure out pretty easily what angle 4 is. Again, this is not the only way to do it. This is just the way I'm doing it. So since I know now that this one is 123, I can do 180 minus 123 minus 18, and that'll give me what angle 4 is. So 180 minus 123 minus 18 gives me 39. So 39 degrees. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so my last two questions are from the most recent lesson 2-4. Are they parallel, perpendicular, or neither? So remember, I have to find out slope for both of these. So here's the first line. Here's the second line. So let's find the slope of the first line first. So I'm going to do 2 minus 10 over negative 5 minus 9. I'm going to do my math. So 2 minus 10 is negative 8. And like I always say, use a calculator, to double check your calculations, because this is usually where people mess up. So negative 5 minus 9. I like to do add a line, change the sign. So I think of that as negative 5 plus negative 9, which makes a little bit more sense in my head. So now I have negative 8 over negative 14, which simplifies. Remember, two negatives make a positive, so these positives or these negatives are actually going away. And I'm going to go ahead and divide both of these by 2 to become positive 4 sevenths. Okay, so that's the first line. Let's try the second one. So I'm going to do 2 minus negative 2 over negative 1 minus negative 8. So 2 plus 2 is 4, so I change those into positives. And then negative 1 plus 8 is 7. So would you look at that? They're the same. So they're the same slopes. These are parallel lines. Okay, last one. Here's my first line. Here's my second line. And I'm going to find the slope of the first line first. So negative 1 minus 11 over 2 minus negative 6. Oops. So negative 1 minus 11, I do add a line, change the sign. So that gives me negative 12 over negative, or 2 plus 6 really, which is 8. Oops. 8. And I'm going to simplify that to negative. I'm going to divide by 4. So negative 3 over 2. And then I'm going to do my second line over here. So 10 minus 8 over negative 1 minus negative 4. So that's going to give me 2. 10 minus 8 is 2. Negative 1 plus 4 is 3. So look, they are reciprocals and they're negative. So this one's negative, this one's positive. So they are perpendicular. And let's submit my quiz. I answered them all. Submit quiz. Hopefully I got a 100. Oh, I did. Okay. So that took me 14 minutes as well. And that is the Chapter 2 quiz.